Good morning everyone, I am Teacher Has Midi or you can call me Teacher Has. So last meeting, we discussed the male and female reproductive systems and the reproduction among flowering plants. So today, we will going to discuss the reproductive structures of animals and plants. So in this lesson, you should be able to
understand the key reproductive structures in animals and plants, differentiate between the reproductive structures of animals and plants, and lastly, recognize the importance of these structures in the life cycles of organisms. Let's play a game called Guess the Animal. So in this activity, you need to guess what animal is in the picture. So are you ready, my dear students? Alright, let's begin.
So for the first picture, guess what animal is this? Very good. It's a cow. Picture number 2. Good job. It's a goat. Picture number 2. Very good. It's a dog. So we have a cow, goat, dog, and a cat. So those animals are classified as mammals because they have an external and internal sense organ.
Animal reproductive structures. Human beings are classified as mammals, along with goats, cow, dogs, cats, and mice. Mammals have external and internal sex organs. Recall that among the female and male human beings, there are external genitalia that scientists use to identify whether the newly born individual is a male or a female. This is also true for cow, dog, cat, and other mammals. There are internal female and male reproductive structures in humans that we have learned in previous module. There are similarities in the structures of the other mammals that produce the sex cells such as the ovary and the testis. Internal fertilization of the egg by the sperm occurs when there is mating of the male and female individuals. Gestation occurs inside the female uterus until a young is born. So this is an example of a human male reproductive system. So first we have vas deferens, pubic bone, penis, urethra, scrotum, testicle, epididymis, prostate, rectum, ejaculatory duct, seminal vesicle, and the bladder. So this is an example of a human female reproductive system. So we have uterine fundus, uterus, ovarian ligament, fimbriae, myometrium, cervical canal, vagina, cervix, perimetrium, endometrium, ovary, fallopian tube, and the embryo. Among birds such as chicken, the male or rooster can be identified by the comb on its head and its prominent tail feathers. Hens have smaller comb and tail feathers. During mating, the rooster transfers the sperm of the hen by rubbing its cloaca against that of the female in internal fertilization. The cloaca is an opening in the bird through which sperm and egg pass through. Snakes and lizards have no external organs to help scientists identify male from female through they exhibit variation in appearance. Frogs have paired gonads and oviducts that are found inside the body which are connected to the cloacae. The female fish has paired ovaries that produce eggs that are released through the oviducts to the uterus of the body cavity. The male fish has paired testes that produce the sperm. Earthworms are hermaphrodites. They have both male and female sex organs in one individual. An individual can produce sperms and eggs during mating. Either one can provide the egg or sperm that is fertilized. In insects such as bees, the testes produce sperms in males and the ovaries produce the eggs in females. The oviducts provide space for sex cells to travel to the uterus. Female insects may store sperms in spermatheca. This is a reproductive system of a bee. During mating, sperm mass stored in the valve of penis is discharged by eversion into the queen's vagina. Some animals will adopt sexual organs for reproduction. In the case of Hydra, a colinterate growing in fresh water, a new animal is produced by a bud from its main body which eventually grow and separate from the parent body. This is a staghorn corals. Some organisms that reproduce sexually may also reproduce asexually. Among staghorn corals, broken segments of the colony may grow into new colonies. And this is a sea star. A sea star that lost some of its arms may grow or regenerate the lost parts to become a new individual.
So we are done with the animal reproductive structures, and now we will proceed to the plant reproductive structures.
Plant reproductive structures. Most plants that you see around have flowers, which are the sex organs of these plants. Among non-flowering plants, like in pine trees, an individual produces male and female cones. In ferns, the spores formed in the leaves germinate into heart-shaped plant that contains the sex cells. Mosses have spores that germinate to young moss plants but grow into male or female that produce the sex cells. This is an example of a ferns and mosses. There are plant parts like leaves, stems, and roots that give rise to new plants. External plant structures such as leaves, stems, roots, flowers, fruits, and seeds are known as plant organs. Each organ is an organized group of tissues that works together to perform a specific function. These structures can be divided into two groups: sexual reproductive and vegetative. Sexual reproductive parts produce seed. They include flower buds, flowers, fruit, and seeds. Sexual reproduction is the sole function of flowers, often the showiest part of a plant. Flowers' beauty and fragrance evolved not to please humans, but to attract pollinators, which are central to the reproductive process. As a plant's reproductive part, a flower contains a stamen, or pistil, or both, plus accessory parts such as sepals, petals, and nectar glands. This is an example of a plant reproductive structures. So the first one is the stigma, style, ovules, ovary, pedicel, sepal, filament, stamen, anther, petal, and the pistil. And this bee is a pollinator. That's the end of our discussion, and I hope you learned something about reproductive structures of animals and plants. Thank you for watching and have a good week.